Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnekins from the NAFB Convention in Kansas City. Thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including Synergy Co-op, Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, Osteoplastics, the Anibis Silo, also Compeer Financial and Elsivia Co-op. Joining us right now, Tom Haag. He's president of the National Corn Growers Association. I had a chance to talk with Tom during our Trade Talk event. And Tom, thanks for joining us while we have the new Congress. Ethanol, we're still going to be talking about E15 and ethanol and trying to get that year-round approval, right?
Exactly right. Well, thanks for having me this morning, Brian. And that's one of the things that, we've got that Midwest governors that have sent letters, to the administration that we've got it just for this part year for this past summer, but we'd like to see that full-time signed by the administration so we get that taken away because, that 15% of the individuals that use that, you can be saving anywhere from 35 to 50 cents a gallon over 87 octane. And, it's a better fuel. It's better for our environment. So we think it's a win-win. We just got to convince the administration to get that signed. And then we've got other ideas to go on with our Next Gen's Fuel Act that if we get that in place, then we've got to start pushing our Next Gen's Fuel Act to see how that can get through Congress and go forward that way.
How important was it that the Midwest governors, it was bipartisan for the Midwest governors, and Republican and Democrat governors, kind of getting together saying, okay, here's this loophole, whatever you want to call it, with EPA. You know what? We're just EPA, we're doing it, and have a nice day. How important was that?
That was important because, you had our organization talking about it, but when you get the governors and from other states getting letters behind us and helping say, yes, this is important for our states, we want it, that was a big plus because that's the administration, I think, saw eyes to that and, that they're thinking more seriously now of getting that E15 passed for the whole, for all year round.
Talking with Tom Haag, he is president of the National Corn Growers Association this morning, and getting ready now for the Farm Bill. Of course, with a new Congress, this is always kind of an interesting thing. They kind of got to start over with all kinds of new members and do a little education, but it's also an opportunity, isn't it?
It's also an opportunity, and especially if we all know that there's less representatives out in D.C. that have farm backgrounds. So that's important for our organization to make sure that we get there, that when we find out who is going to be on the Ag Committee, to go talk to them and, give them what our points are that we feel are important in the Farm Bill. And, we do have a working relationship with, if he comes in as a new chairman, as G.T. Thompson out of Pennsylvania. So we've had conversations last year when he was the ranking member. So we're going to have a good head person going that leading the charge on the House side, and it looks like the Democrats will stay solid that way. So, we've if Congress or Senator Stabenow stays there, or if somebody else, she moves on to another committee, who would be the new person coming in there, but we know it's Senator Boonsma out of Arkansas is going to be the ranking member there on the Senate side. So we do have good working relationships with him. It's just a matter of getting the other members there and talking to and getting our points across.
Talking with Tom Haag, president of the National Corn Growers Association. What are some of the priorities that corn growers want to see in the next Farm Bill?
The main thing that we've talked about from day one is on crop insurance. That's our number one priority there. Leave the crop insurance alone. We know there's other organizations out there that would like to cut it back, don't have it out there as maybe make the farmer pay more or what, but we're saying leave it alone. It's a public-private entity, and in my state alone, 96% of the corn farmers use crop insurance. So it's that safety net that you need. My farm this year, I thought we might have to use it because we were so dry June and July, but with the technology of these new seeds, we were above that threshold. So that's the good thing, that we got more corn than what we anticipated. But it's a safety net with that crop insurance, and that is important that we leave that there. And then, it's the PLC, the ARC. We still would like, on our last Farm Bill, they gave us a choice of you could switch from year to year. That is a good option because sometimes it works better one way or another. So, and then there's also the CRP there. So, there is ground that needs to be left in CRP that we shouldn't be farming it. So we're that's our third on the list was with conservation.
Talking with Tom Haag. He is president of National Corn Growers Association this morning. Tom, let's talk a little, at least briefly, about the situation with Mexico. They're moving forward, wanting to not accept U.S. GM corn. That's got to be a concern.
It's concern for us. It's there are number one. They're our neighbor. They use a large amount of our corn, and it's interesting because their president doesn't want to see GMO corn being brought in white or yellow now. And at one time it was just going to be maybe white corn, but now it's yellow corn, even feeding to their animals. Well, that is a major because not a lot of farmers in the U.S. grow non-GMO corn. And that's if we have to switch over to a GMO corn, it's going to cost more. So that makes it harder for the Mexican people because their costs are going to go up. It's going to cost more for corn, and it's also going to cost more for them to produce that food for their families, or for the families to buy back in Mexico. So we're talking with the administrator Ty, making sure that she's getting the administration know where we're coming from, and there is talk going there, but it's a concern because they're talking next January, and what we're going into plant this coming year in 23 will be in the pipeline for 24.
That's Tom Haag. He's president of the National Corn Growers Association from the NAFB convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.